welcome to Gospel Incites Pulse, an occasional brief commentary that checks the pulse of the faithful for signs of life in advancing the kingdom of God. We look at things happening in society, in the nation, and in the world, and see how the teachings of Jesus toward leading the kingdom life now are being applied, or not. I'm Bruce Seaman, a retired Presbyterian Church USA minister who is now working out his freedom to say pretty much whatever he wants. So what shall we talk about today? In the previous episode, I gave an overview of what the national civil religion is. The civil religion has been effectively merging with Christian belief and practice for many years. This simplistic notion of Jesus atoning death on the cross, Jesus died for my sins, that is far more celebrated in the church than Jesus' difficult teachings. The formula, sacrifice equals freedom, works for both the civil religion and for popular Christian theology. But, this graphic really nails the merger perfectly, don't you think? Plus, Judeo-Christianity has a set of traditional moral values and codes that they fit well with the law and order mentality. I mean, why is it that they always want to put up the 10 commandments at the courthouse, but not Jesus' 2 love commandments? Well, that's the law and order mentality of civil religion, enhanced with biblical religious authority. By the way, I searched for a public monument of Jesus' love commandments. I didn't find any. I don't think there are any. None. So you scrape the veneer off of many Christians, particularly evangelicals, and you'll find little real interest in the teachings of Jesus, much less practicing those teachings, and instead a high interest in the beliefs and practices of the civil religion, just a light dusting of Christianity to keep up appearances. The Reagan campaign in 1980 effectively mobilized conservative Christians as a political force. And although Reagan was at best a marginal Christian, his charismatic presence, his anti-establishment views, his arch-conservative values, and his willingness to be tough on everyone from labor unions to the Soviet Union endeared him as a saint of conservatism, of American exceptionalism, and of the national civil religion. He and his speechwriters connected his message with the national myth of exceptionalism, unapologetic toughness, muscular force, and traditional values, elevating and energizing the civil religion to a new level. More on that national myth business in another episode. But none of his Republican successors came close to his appeal. They were never able to tap into that national myth the way Reagan did, and its religious values so unapologetically. Not the elder Bush, not Dole, not Shrub, not McCain, not Romney. All missed the mark. The only exception was the popular runner-up in 2008, not John McCain, but Sarah Palin. Her popularity eclipsed McCain with her happy ugly talk, her forthright zany commentary, snappy quips, who could forget, drill baby drill, and her generous embrace of traditional values, including the civil religion. In 2010, though, the Tea Party rose and demanded unyielding, hard, right-wing positions, viewing political compromise as a sin against the cause. Extremism became mandatory as any GOP office holder was targeted for a primary challenge if they failed to toe the line. And at that point, with a black man in the White House, a black man trying to act in the role of high priest of the national civil religion, well, the Tea Party reflected thinly veiled racism. Its nasty, passionate rhetoric was amplified through the wide reach of old and new media, from Rush Limbaugh on radio to Fox News on TV to now ubiquitous social media connections. And the Tea Party hated immigrants and foreigners, international trade and treaties, all un-American, climate change, government regulations and government programs generally, and yes, taxes. They insisted that they were the true patriots, passionate for the national civil religion. Well, the uncompromising extremism of the Tea Party in the face of realities was matched by what the people in the churches had felt toward modernization for decades. The changing landscape of moral and ethical values, the scientific advancements that undermine traditional beliefs, and the perceived lowering of social standards that they felt devalued and debased what was good and true and blessed. The quixotic quest of the Tea Party to stand against reality was something that Christians could readily embrace too. So the Republican Party was now the party of extremists and false narratives. All it needed was a genuine extremist to rally them, to inspire their nationalistic, civil, religious spirit, and to lead them forward in the 2016 election. Democrats fielded a moderate, elitist, bland, old guard candidate in Hillary Clinton, someone who brought along more freight in her train than Burlington Northern Railway. The huge Republican field, though, had one standout: Donald Trump. Openly brash, nasty, unyielding, unprincipled, bellicose, racist, and bullying from the very beginning, Trump mangled the whole field and dominated to the dismay of party regulars. Now, Trump is a lifelong devotee of himself and playing the con game. After years of sizing up the con required to become president, he knew what levers to use. A true showman, his oversized personality dominated and enthralled. His rallies had magical chants, lock her up, fake news, drain the swamp, build the wall, all while Hillary worked so strenuously just to get to the applause lines. Trump spoke extremist language with unapologetic force, repetition, and even swagger. He commanded every stage, dominated the airwaves, and was a social media sensation. Trump was their champion. And Trump knew how to court the religious right, promising them whatever they desired. Even the most lurid scandals had no impact on his favorability. And he knew to tap into the vast reservoir of the national civil religion, because that's what connected with evangelicals. Even if he stumbled on the words of the Pledge of Allegiance, even if he couldn't recite the Lord's Prayer at all, the civil religion was more intensely practiced and valued than Christianity. So getting the Christians on board was easy by spouting the civil religion and doing lip service to the Christian stuff. And the con worked. Because Trump believes in neither Christianity nor the civil religion. But as he did with everything, he saw their usefulness as tools for himself and his ambitions. He only believed in himself, and the already primed idol worshippers of Christianized civil religion, they believed only in him too. The national civil religion now had its Messiah, Donald Trump, who would lead them back to the mythic good old days when white people ran the White House, when minorities and foreigners and weirdos were put in their places, when good people kept law and order, and when the truth was told squarely instead of twisted by leftist commentators, when God was American, America was a Christian nation, America was the best, America was blessed, being an American was a privilege, its freedoms enjoyed by good white people, and all the rest of the world, it was just a bunch of shithole countries and people who needed either to bow to and respect America or get bombed back into the Stone Age. Donald Trump was anointed, sent by the national God as the long-awaited Messiah by the pre-existing civil religion devotees who had long been sitting in America's church pews on Sundays. He was just what they were asking for. Trump could do no wrong, for God had chosen him, and God was with him. Next time, what does all of this say about the state of the church in the United States? I hope you'll join me. Until then, take care.